Coach, went to a meeting the other day where Coach Claiborne in Kentucky talked for about 5 to 10 minutes about college athletics and drugs and what the college coaches were doing or trying to mount some type of attack against it across the nation. I was just wondering if you could possibly comment about when you go out recruiting, it's got to have made a change in the men that are the young men that are playing basketball that sometimes get to where they start getting their eye somewhere else. Do you find that across the country, or do you think that y'all are going to be able to do anything about it by filtering it to the high school coaches?
Well, the people that ought to be doing something about it aren't the coaches, it's the parents. It's got to start with the parents. I want to tell you where the parents got to start. You had a key word in what you said. Can you pick out the absolute key word that you used? It was the word attack. And I'll tell you where we attacked. We goddamn attacked Columbia. And that's right. Let me just say, okay, you have 10 factories that are producing drugs that are being imported to the United States. We're going to give you until noon tomorrow to disassemble those factories. If they aren't, we'll disassemble them for you. So, we try to fight things, and we're the strongest nation in the world. And we worry what the hell Columbia, I don't give a damn what Columbia thinks. Gil Hodges was touring with an American baseball team in Japan in the early 50s. And he'd been a Navy veteran in the Pacific in World War II. And a discussion of Truman having authorized the dropping of the atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and I've been to both of those cities, came into the conversation. And the Japanese host and the American baseball players are discussing this back and forth. In the middle of the conversation, Hodges intervened by saying that if dropping those bombs saved the life of one American serviceman, they were worthwhile. And that ended the conversation. Well, what I think we're dealing with here are thousands, hundreds of thousands of lives of kids. And in every one of your communities, drugs are in the junior high school, and maybe in the grade school. And I am a great admirer of Jerry Claiborne and what coaches are trying to do, but that's not the answer. The answer isn't to rehabilitate. The answer isn't to educate. Each of those is only a part of it. The answer is to go right to the source. No, we don't have any global threat anywhere in the world nearly the menace to our society that drugs are. And why we screw around with this, I just don't understand. The first boat that's bringing in 10 tons of marijuana from Colombia that's sunk will have a hell of a deterrent effect on other boats coming in. That's my approach. My approach, and I have, I even wrote the president letters telling him that I would be glad to help former Secretary Bennett, who has been given an assignment as a quote-unquote drug czar in the United States in any way that I could. And I have had some answer back, but I think they're probably of the feeling that if they ever gave me any responsibility, I might forget that we have a Constitution.
We have time for one more question.
One more question, right here.
You made a statement earlier about the three-point shot. How do you really feel about the three-point shot?
Well, we had a thing in 1983. We were the first Catholics to really experiment with the three-point shot. And in our spring meeting in April of 1982, the 10 coaches in the Big Ten are talking about the three-point shot. And 9 of them were for it, and I was against it. But I looked around the room at the 10 schools, including ours, and there were only 2 3-point shooters in the Big Ten, and I had both of them, Whitman and Kitchell. Nobody else had them. And I just said, I think it's a ridiculous thing. I don't think we should have it. I argued like hell against it, and I knew that would bring about a 9-1 vote in favor. They voted in 9-1, the 3-point shot. Well, then I'm asked at a subsequent press conference, just as you have asked me my feelings about the 3-point shot. I said, well, I don't think it's good for basketball. I don't think it's good for the Big Ten. But I said there are only 3 players in the Big Ten that can shoot the 3-point shot. And I have 2 of them. Well, as I said, there were only 2 and I had both of them. But I said there were 3, and I spent the whole year watching all those little guards from those other 9 schools trying to show me that each was the 3rd player out of We went on to win the Big Ten championship that year. And at the spring meeting in 1983 for the 1984 season, I apologized to the other 9 coaches saying, you know, you guys were right and I was wrong. The 3-point shot was really good for Big Ten basketball. Kitchell shot 64% from 3-point and Whitman shot 49% from 3-point. Nobody else in the league shot over 36 to 37%. And so I apologized to the other 9 coaches, and I told them I thought we should keep it forever. Well, I knew what would happen. They voted it out 9-1. Well, that pleased me because Whitman and Kitchell were both seniors, and I didn't have it. I'm not sure, in the times that I've spoken before a wide range of groups across the country,